All right, everybody, welcome back to Beans No Ball. Obviously, some interesting technical difficulties with the
Zeus
camera here.
tweak.
It's
Yep.
it, it's been rough. I actually just looking at it. Maybe you could bring the camera down. Looks like it's half just
I
empty
hope
screen.
so.
Yeah,
There we
but
go.
yeah, it's just
There we go.
there we go. Right. So yeah, gonna have to just pull through it regardless. It's a big week for my Rams. That's gonna be one of the bigger topics that we're gonna get into today. The NFC West. Obviously, we just kind of just been what we've been talking about overall. I mean, I don't know if you want to just kick off with the other teams, and I can end up talking with my Rams.
Yeah, so obviously, you're gonna get the Rams here, but this NFC West, like we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks, there really hasn't been any like runaway favorites so far. I mean, it's been pretty like, here and there, right? It can be the Seahawks there, Rams now, Cardinals have been their favorites for a bit, Niners too, they're had a little drop off, but they seem to be coming back after that must need win against the Chicago Bears the other game there too. So it's a pretty tight schedule for most of these teams there. I know with the Seahawks right now they have the toughest schedule looking at as of right now. I think your Rams have
Yeah,
I
when
think
we
one of
break it
the smaller
down,
ones.
you look at those. I mean, sure, there is still a chance, but I would leave the Seahawks out of the race if we're just really looking at it. We look at the top three. The Seahawks, they still got to play the Packers this week, which is something we could probably get into in just a little bit. I think they still got the Vikings.
The Vikings are right after the Packers game. Then
Yeah,
the
they play
Bears.
the Vikings.
Then they have,
That
then they
Bears
got Bears.
game, you could chalk it up as a win there, but then week 18 could come down for the division against my Rams, so that's going to be the main one you look at. As for the Cardinals, they got easy games. I think they got the Patriots. They've one more easy game.
I haven't
Panthers
already.
too.
They have Patriots, then the Panthers, but the Panthers
But
is
the
still
Panthers,
not
that's
a,
one game.
It's still, yeah.
First and
still not a
foremost, the
team to
Panthers
overlook at,
always
though.
play the Cardinals good.
Yeah.
Historically, the Panthers have played games well. They're kind of looking on the rise. They played really well against some really good opponents like the Eagles and the Chiefs. So don't be surprised if the Panthers could play spoilers for my Rams. And looking into my Rams, big Thursday night game that we'll get into right now against the 49ers. Another two more divisional games after that, the Cardinals and the Seahawks, and you still got that Jets game, which it could absolutely be a trap game. They gotta worry about not letting the Jets take advantage of looking ahead to those divisional games. But look, I mean, hey, I'm biased. Say what you want, but very possible for the Rams to run the table here.
Yeah, honestly, look, I've been defending the Cardinals all season. You know that, really high on that Kyler train there. But the past couple of games, he looked pretty good. He looked pretty iffy. The loss against Seattle,
It's
that
the
one
Vikings
really.
and Seahawks games, man.
It really is the Vikings and the Seahawks game that really got. I mean, thankfully, I got it right with the Vikings game there too. But those two games really, they should really be up there in that division there too. But all these teams in the NFC West, they all got an upper hand against the Seahawks. Their defense, their young and improved defense, Geno's connection with Jackson Smith and Jigma. Those are the two bright spots on that team. Your Rams, Puka and Cup, that one number one duo, the Stafford connection, Kyron Williams, all around there. And obviously the flaw with you guys, it's your guys' defense, your pass rush, it's there. It just needs to finish. That's probably one of the bigger issues you guys had all season there. The Cardinals, you can go back and forth with the Cardinals with the strong suit is Kyler Murray. He's got to get that connection going with Marvin Harrison Jr. if they're really going to get the offense going. James Conner probably is the bigger bright spot on that team. And the 49ers, probably just Brock Purdy and same thing, Kelsey and maybe Juwan Jennings finally step
Juwan Jennings has been
again.
the bright spot when you really look at just, all of, call it the injuries, call it the, just not playing to their best ability. Juwan Jennings has really stepped up as that role, which, last season, obviously, he really did have an expanded role. This year, really, kind of really filling out into that number one spot. But I don't know, just overall, I know it's hard to keep the Niners out of it, but it's hard for me to really see them coming back into it. Just another thing too, might be a hot take to some, but Kyle Shanahan could be coaching for his job. If you really look at you always see the comparison with him and McVay. McVay has a ring. You see Shanahan, it's been I think it's his 8th year going into this now. Still no Super Bowl success, has those 2 losses, say what you want. Maybe has lost the locker room just looking at some of these losses that they've had. Could wait and see, if they somehow end up losing out, we could end up seeing the ownership group just grow fed up and maybe decide to move in a different direction.
And we could see that. I mean, they got your games against the Rams on Thursday. Then they got the next game against the Dolphins, who've been on a rise there. Then the Lions. We see about the Lions, and then obviously the divisional game against the Cardinals, like we said. That last game with both NFC West. Exactly. They already beat them once. They're gonna go for either the tiebreaker or they see the Cardinals are gonna go for the 2-0 in the series this year there. But like we said, it's NFC West. It's gonna be tight, and it's gonna be tight for the next couple of games moving forward here. And obviously, I guess a side note there from the NFL, Bright's big name, Bill Belichick. Finally, he's agreed to terms, and he's going to be the UNC's coach for next season. I believe there's already in talks with him. There's been talks in the mix of there here and there for the past couple of weeks there, but now it's finally been official there. So let's see what Bill Belichick is going to cook up for now the younger guys and moving into college ball.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely like the move. I think we also saw one of his conditions was to have his son Steve be like the coach in waiting. I don't know if Bill ends up getting an NFL offer that he, leaves himself open to going. Really would have expected him to wait for NFL offseason and see, because I know the Jaguars are probably going to be interested. See if, I don't know, maybe the Bears were going to throw their hat in the ring or just other teams. But I definitely would have expected him to, keep himself open for an NFL job. Also, I mean, just in general, UNC just kind of feels like a surprising spot for him to land. But I mean, sure, they got pedigree. Big college football fans know, they just got rid of Mac Brown, historic coach from Texas that beat USC. Obviously, well, Christian, you're a Texas fan. You ought to know about him a little bit. But I mean,
just around there.
Yeah, but it was just his tenure came to an end. In my opinion, wasn't really the best. And Belichick, see what he can do. Honestly, don't expect him to be there long. I think he'll probably be there a year or two and maybe get right back into the NFL ranks.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to see what it is there. Like you said, it was a pretty random for the get-go there, but at least finally the media talks in the NFL can stop surrounding him making a potential coaching gig back in the NFL as of right now there. But let's see if old Bill Belichick he's still got it, and let's see if he's gonna put his New England ways to those young guys there.
Yeah, and if we're gonna be talking about old heads, Al Michaels, say what you want, a historic, great commentator in this league. Obviously, with our career choice, we have a lot of respect for him. He's coming back for 2025 for Thursday Night Football. We love the guy. He's an icon, but I mean, the calls that he's been giving us, I mean, ever since Super Bowl 56, I got a bright, just a nice spot in my heart that he called our Super Bowl win. But ever since then, it's really been downhill once he hit Thursday Night Football. Pretty dead on his calls most of the time. Kind of reminds you of Bob Costas on those postseason games, if any baseball fans watching here. But just, I mean, not the greatest. I mean, honestly, if we're watching Thursday Night Football, we're really there for Kirk Herbstreit. We really enjoy, the color commentary he brings. Al Michaels kind of just brings it down. Like I say, he's a great guy, but it's just time to hang it up, man.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, he's past his prime. We're never going to figure out that dynamic though between him and Collinsworth. That's really they had the credit street. And so when I'm watching, it's Thursday Night Football, I'm watching and I'm just remembering damn, Al Michaels, he used to be more passionate.
He used to be with John Madden, man.
Yeah, exactly. He had a lot of passion there with John, and then obviously with Chris for a good amount of years there. Their chemistry was great, especially with the Super Bowl with the Patriots and the Eagles there. Both their chemistry, it was looking pretty decent for the most part. But it just sucks to see how that's going on.
And don't get me wrong, the chemistry is great with Kirk. I mean, obviously,
yeah,
still a great guy. He's still got that energy, but it's just when he calls games, it's not the same, man.
Yeah, it's just boring. I would understand. Look, most of the Thursday night games, since for the past I think 1-2 years, well, the games they've been pretty boring for Thursday night. There, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna put that out there. Been pretty boring, so not too great calls there. But I mean, again, it's better to bring more energy to a shitty game rather than just keep the same energy with horrible commentating with how bad or the game already is. I'm just a big play happens and you're just like, what? I'm just like, come on, it's frustrating. It's frustrating at times, but
Joe Buck.
Oh man, don't even get started. But I mean,
good,
Joe.
though. Let's be honest.
That's
what.
No, let's get into Joe Buck then. Look, I never understood the hate with Joe Buck. His play calling has been
the one thing about Joe Buck
over the past couple of years.
Let's just get into Joe Buck. I mean, before, let's say in the 2000s, he was rough. Let's be honest. I mean, you remember that the Eagles Bucks NFC Championship, Mitchell, just a really ugly
Mitchell.
The ugly call on the opening kickoff for the Eagles, and there's that one. I think baseball fans obviously too would remember. I just remember the 2011 World Series really seemed dead. Just a lot of his old calls really seemed dead, but he brings a lot of energy. You remember the Minneapolis Miracle, one of those that
exactly
brings me back with Joe Buck.
Diggs sideline touchdown, iconic from recent memory there, and He's been great. He's been getting great. You know, like he's probably one of the better, chemistry guys right now that he has with Troy Aikman. You know, their chemistry's it's unmatched. I low-key do miss him, on Thursday Night Football because I probably think that's probably when, it was at its peak there. But with Joe Buck always run. Yeah,
on the Sunday games on Fox.
Wasn't it? No, wasn't
well,
it,
he got because Fox
Fox
had Thursday games for like 2-3 years, but his prime was the America's Game of the Week on Fox. That's why the Cowboys always had him.
No, yeah, but I had some memory that he's had some Thursday games there too. Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. That even on his Thursday games, still great. The Cowboy games and all that, he's been great. I've been defending Joe Buck for the past couple of years. His commentating is great, right? When we're comparing it to Al Michaels, that's a whole different story there.
Yeah, obviously, just obviously going off our own tangent here. Obviously, this is the only reason we do this. Guys like that, really inspire us to keep going with this, and just obviously, we have a lot of respect for a lot of these guys. That let's move it, I guess, back into the real football. Got a great lineup of games going into Week 15. Let's just start highlighting a couple of the biggest one, obviously, could be a Super Bowl preview here with the Bills and the Lions. I'm really excited to see how the Bills can bounce back after, that rough loss. How Josh Allen, after 6 touchdowns and 350 yards, what are you going to do here?
Yeah, like Allen's one of those guys, with how great the Bills are doing, he's going to find a way to bounce back there. But I got to worry about that defense, especially when we're looking at, look, we've been saying it this whole time, the Lions offense. How are they going to stop Gibbs and Monty? How are they going to stop Amon-Ra, right? They stop Amon-Ra. You still got to stop J-Mo. If you stop J-Mo, I believe Khalif Raymond, right?
Khalif Raymond, even Tim Patrick's getting in the mix a lot.
Yeah, they've been getting there, especially in the last game against...
Don't forget Sam Laporta.
Laporta. How could I not mention Laporta before those two? But you see Tim Patrick injured for the past 2 years since 2021. He finally got going there. Maybe
for the Lions.
Yeah, exactly. Underrated pickup there. Exiting from that injury there. Hopefully, it's just not a one-time game where he just has a miracle there. But if he can be worked into the mix here, take over that Bills secondary, this could be really well be the Lions game there. But we know how Josh Allen is putting that offense on his back there with the help of James Cook as well. We know how that run game gets going with Josh Allen. Even if it doesn't get going, Josh Allen, he's going to use his legs there. It's kind of tough to tell which, team is going to pick here. I want to pick the Lions. I want to pick the Bills there too. But, we're just going to have to wait till the picks come out on Saturday there. But like I said, it's going to be up to that Bills defense to see if it's going to be a game on how.
Yeah, and the one thing to me, what worries me is, how they're going to match up against the Lions defense. That's the biggest key that I'm seeing, because honestly, I do expect Jared Goff to really, keep this offense going against the Bills. Because specifically the way the Rams were able to beat them, it's the same way. You ground and pound, and then you start little by little with the pass game. So I have no concerns for the Lions to get going offensively. It's what Josh Allen can do here. And sure, I know he's got all the firepower. He's got, his weapons. He's obviously always got it going with Shakir. But, this Lions defense, they always find a way. They've been shutting some of the best teams down, except my Rams, though. Let's also remember Week 1, we're probably the team that gave them the best game aside from the Bucks. But, yeah, I definitely do see the Lions defense really showing up. But, like you said, we're still undecided, probably leaning more Lions, but we'll really get into it soon.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of good games. And then might as well, we'll just get it kicked in with the Thursday night between your Rams and your Niners. Not your Niners, excuse me. Your Rams and the Niners.
My Rams, never the Niners. Don't even get that into your mouth, man. But yeah, just a phenomenal game here. Say what you want. The Niners are on, one of their worst stretches, specifically of the Shanahan era, but they always play the Rams good. Let's not forget the year before our Super Bowl run. Believe we did get swept by them, and they were, I think, that was the year they had the 3rd pick and ended up picking up Trey Lance. So you always got a great game with the Rams and the Niners. And only other thing we got to look at, injuries are definitely still heavy. Sure, the Niners are way more hampered. The Rams obviously getting pretty healthy as of right now, but Niners, no Trent Williams again, no Malik Mustafa again. Could possibly see Dre Greenlaw get back in this game. He is now listed at questionable. Guarendo's questionable, so we'll see if he does end up actually coming back. But I think the biggest difference that we look from the first game, now they don't have a Jordan Mason or a Brandon Ayuk, which Ayuk did have a pretty, he started getting into the mix little by little in that game. but wasn't really a factor. Now they don't even have him as a decoy possible option. The main thing you look at now, who they do have in this game that they didn't have last time, Debo and Kittle, the main guys that really always kill the Rams, specifically Debo. I don't know if you're gonna end up wanting to switch your picks from something that we talked about a little earlier, but Debo just always cooks my Rams. Let's just be honest. I mean, even if he's having a rough year, he always just finds a way to just really show out. You know, it's the rivalry. It's just, you know, the best comes out of him.
Yeah, and obviously, like, at least you guys had your little fair share. You guys beat him in the playoffs when it really mattered the most there. But, you know,
and we won this year. We're on a 2-win streak against them. I mean, let's make it 3.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, look, there's two completely different teams there. Like you said, the Niners, they're still riddled with injuries. The Rams, there's always a little bit flaws within that whole team around there. Not your offense, but your defense, right? Whether it's your secondary, whether it's pass rush not finishing plays, there's always going to be a little in the mix there. We know Debo, he's fast. Same with Juwan Jennings. You know, he's been their guy this whole year that we mentioned there. He's been their main guy who's been stepping up for this whole receiving in there. I know George Kittle, his connection with Purdy, you know, it's been lining up once again there. If those two guys get going, it's going to be really difficult for the Rams defense to, you know, really pick up from that.
Talking about the defense, main thing that I also got too, we just talked about this on the way home earlier. No Kobe Durant. He's been one of the bright spots on that secondary. Obviously going to be an issue. I always talked a little bit about D. Will. You know, he had a lot of struggles. I'm expecting him to still get the starting spot if we're not going to have Kobe Durant. I really hope he, you know, really has a nice bounce back, really proves himself to, you know, maintain a starting spot. But my main guy that I'm looking at for the defense is going to be Ahkello Witherspoon. Obviously, you know, he had such a big role last year. Not really that much this year, but the fourth quarter that he had against the Bills, it proved that he has to be a starter on this team. I want him on Juwan Jennings in this game. We'll see if there's any adjustment that needs to be made. But Ahkello has proven that he has been locked down against some of the best teams, so I need to see him there. And I didn't get into the Rams injuries just yet. Bo Limmer and Alaric Jackson, you know, two of our star offensive linemen. Bo Limmer, a rookie, by the way, both questionable. If they don't get to go, really worry about the Rams run game. That's the only other thing I do have to say.
Yeah, both teams obviously riddled with injuries on both sides of the ball. Really, it's going to be which offense is going to keep consistently getting it going there. Because I think defensively, right now this is the 2 weak spots for both these teams there. Right? And you know, when you got two guys at the Rams end with Puka and Cup, to see how well they've been playing since they got back at each other, that 1-2 punch. It's going to be a tough night for the 49ers there. But again, it's going to see which offense is going to finish the most.
Yeah, and in the recent stretch, I mean, you know, look at offensively. I mean, the one thing I do also want to say for Brock Purdy and for the 49ers, I mean, a lot of things that we really look at, you know, we are expecting some rain in this game up in San Francisco. Brock Purdy always struggles in tough weather. Obviously, we saw the snow game recently, which we're not going to fault him for that. But, I mean, you know, we do see him struggle in conditions. And we'll always see him, I mean, possibly, you know, usually see him at least fumble the ball at least once. You know, it slips out of his hands here and there. Definitely expecting to, you know, if the forecast is true, you know, definitely expect him to have some of those struggles. And didn't actually bring this up, but I do really want to highlight this. When he plays against man coverage, roughly a 50 QBR, and when he plays zone, like around a 120 QBR. So really expect Chris Shula to really highlight in on that, and hopefully actually, you know, be smart and go heavy on the man coverage.
Yeah, exactly there. Now, obviously, got the takes there. You know exactly how the deal is with the parlays there. David, you again, see your Rams started off.
Obviously, and I mean, a little bit of surprise, I guess, to you from the way I'm gonna start this on Matthew Stafford, 244 yards on the air. I'm expecting to go less. I'm expecting the run game to actually be you know, the main part that we go a little heavier on. I'm expecting our old linemen to play. You know, they're not going to want to miss this game. And like I said, the conditions, I think it's going to be a nice ground and pound game. So I'll take the under on Stafford. Kyren Williams, as I just said, I'm going to take the over on him. His line set at 73.5 rush yards. And Puka Nacua, I'm going to take him for a touchdown. That's a demon pick on this one. So hopefully that, you know, gets our money up a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm moving on with the Niners parlays. You know, I got George Kittle, 57.5. I'm going to go more on this one. Like I've been talking about, his connection with Purdy, it's finally starting to line up here and there. He's probably going to be one of the main targets outside of Jennings. Speaking of Jennings, same thing. He's been bolstering it up there, really taking on, you know, obviously taking over for that receiver one spot, especially, you know, with the you know, how Ayuk wasn't dealing as much. Now he's done for the year. Debo's been struggling a bit in the past game. So I'm going to go Juwan, 67.5 more. And again, with Deebo Samuel, you know, I think he's going to be a better asset in the in the pass game. So I'm going to go less on his 15.5 rush yards.
As much as, I want that to be true, but like what I was just saying, Deebo Samuel, he, despite all the struggles he's had this season, I would not put it past him to just turn it up against my Rams. But I mean, let's hope we keep seeing the crybaby Deebo type stuff. But I think that's gonna do it for us here. Gonna wrap up another. We never even mentioned that it was. This is the 26th episode of Beanstalk. Obviously, you already been seeing it all on the screen, but yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys right back for the Week 15 recap.